It was 1924, when, in accordance with the decree of the Soviet Revolutionary Military Council, the Central Training and Experimental Site for Dogs for military and sports purposes was established in the Soviet Union. In this, at that time very small kennel, 35 soldiers began to work with 44 dogs, mostly shepherd dogs from the Caucasian and the Central Asian regions, and some German shepherds, as well as a number of dogs with mixed origin. The stated goal from the very first moment was to raise and breed dogs who might be suitable for serving the needs of the Soviet armed forces, the so-called Red Army, and to be used primarily for military purposes. Among the goals set were to prepare future dogs for guard work, finding the wounded on battlefields, carrying out sabotage operations, mine search, and, among other things, tank counteractions. As time went on, the number of trained dogs grew rapidly, and by the time of the Second World War, more than 30,000 had been transferred to the Red Army. According to post-World War II reports, these dogs destroyed 300 tanks during the war, discovered 4 million mines, carried and delivered 20,000 messages and saved the lives of hundreds of thousands of wounded soldiers. Unfortunately, and sadly, by the end of the war, almost all of these dogs died on the battlefields, or due to serious food shortages. Seeing their success, the Soviet leadership decided to continue and accelerate the program, but partially changed the breeding goals, for which there were two main reasons. One was that millions of prisoners of war were pouring into the Soviet Union, which had to be guarded on the gulags, and on the other hand, mainly in German territories, the Soviets collected a lot of new dogs and for them unknown breeds, like Rottweilers, many German Shepherds, giant Schnauzers, Great Danes, but also Newfoundland dogs and St. Bernards. The state-owned kennel, which was renamed for Red Star Breeding Center, was given the task to create new breeds from the available dogs that meet Soviet military needs and can be used in all climate conditions. In the Krasnaya Zvezda kennel, 3.5 existing and 2 since then extinct dog breeds have been developed according to the expectations. In this video, let's look at them briefly. And what is the aforementioned half? It will turn out by the end of this video. Let's start perhaps with the by now extinct breeds. The first is the so-called Moscow dog. Initially, the Soviets seriously considered the military utilization of the Great Danes, or, in European name the German dogs, feasible, and from the Great Danes they obtained in Germany they created the so-called Moscow dogs. The aim was to make Great Danes workable and to make them less susceptible to cold weather. It has been a complete mystery ever since what they crossed the Great Danes with. The only information can be found in connection with them is that they were highly functional, extremely mobile. There were supposedly individuals for whom jumping a 10 feet high wall was not a problem, but at the same time they were extremely aggressive. The program was cancelled early, the cause of which was not strictly confidential, but the most probable is that they were considered to be unfit to tolerate the cold. Second, the Moscow water dog. The basis for the formation of the Moscow water dog, or Moskovsky Vodolaz or Moscow diving dog, were the Newfoundland dogs transported from Germany, who were mixed with the Caucasian Shepherds of the time. Although these dogs swam well and endured even the icy waters of the north, they were much more aggressive than their Newfoundland ancestors. According to the descriptions, it was a common occurrence that instead of rescuing, they attacked the sailors in the water, so after a while the Soviets abandoned the experiments and ceased the program. From the 1960s, Moskovsky Vodolaz breeding fell into civilian hands, where more and more Newfoundland dogs were mixed into the bloodlines to blunt the aggression inherited from the Caucasian Shepherd ancestors. Partly because of this, by the 1980s, this breed had actually ceased to exist, with some of their bloodline surviving in today's Black Russian Terriers. And now, have a look at the breeds that have survived to this day. The third is the Black Russian Terrier. In the case of Black Terriers, the leaders of the Red Star Kennel were instructed to breed a large service dog that is strong and wild, and cannot be seen in the dark and resistant to the greatest cold, and suitable for waterwork as well. the basis of the breeding was a black giant Schnauzer named Roy, who was first crossed with an Airedale Terrier, and then the puppies that were born with Rottweilers. Later, they were crossed with Caucasian Shepherds and Moscow Water Dogs and thus formed the Russian Black Terrier. Black Terriers were recognized by FCI as an independent breed in 1984. There was a, in quotes, small mistake in the work of because the Black Terrier has become an amazingly human-centered breed, practically a dog sticking very much to his owner, or to a family. Changing owners, or keeping them separated in a kennel, is very difficult for them to tolerate. This is one of the main reasons why, as a service dog, it is not more widespread in the world. Fourth, the Moscow Watchdog. In the case of the Moscow Watchdog, or, in Russian, the Moscow Guard Dog, the goal was to create a large-bodied guard dog breed that is intelligent, can be trained easily and can be handled by those soldiers as well, who are not professional dog handlers, but who, if necessary, have the strength and the stopping power to an extent, so that it does not have any human opponents. For this purpose, the breeders of the Red Star Kennel crossed St. Bernard Mountain Dogs with Caucasian Shepherds, and then they involved the excellent-nosed Russian Spotted Hounds, and thus the Moscow Guard Dog was born in the 1950s, the existence of which the world practically does not even know, since they were classified as strictly guarded war secrets. After the end of the Soviet Union in the 1990s, they became more widespread, and their standard was finalized in 1997 by the Russian Dog Federation. The current dogs of this breed perfectly combine the philanthropy and intelligence of the St. Bernards and the endurance and toughness of the Caucasian Shepherd. A properly socialized and raised Moscow Watchdog is an excellent family member, but at the same time in a dangerous situation you can always count on it. Fifth, the East European Shepherd. The East European Shepherd is usually called the Russian German Shepherd in English, which is, sincerely, quite a silly name, despite the fact that this breed can indeed be considered a variant of the German Shepherd dog. Dog specialists of the Red Army were impressed by the working abilities of the German Shepherds, so they set out with the goal that the future breed have to own these abilities as well, but at the same time they imagined the future dog to be stronger in body structure and bite force, and be able to cope with the bitterly cold Russian winters. To reach these goals, they crossed the available German Shepherds with the Shepherd dog breeds available to them and with the Siberian Leikas at the end. The first standard was born in 1964, and since then the East European Shepherd has become the favorite of the KGB and the Soviet, now Russian, law enforcement and special forces. Although a novice dog lover can easily confuse them with German Shepherds, East European Shepherd dogs are larger and heavier, less prone to genetic diseases, and their backs are straight. Their mask and body markings are more blurry than those of the German Shepherds. And what is the mysterious half-dog what we mentioned in the introduction? This is the Caucasian Shepherd dog, as we know it today. This breed was calculated only a half year, because, unlike the previously mentioned, newly created breeds, the ancestors of the Caucasian Shepherd dogs have existed and carried out their work for centuries around the flocks that graze around the Caucasus. At the same time, the Caucasian Shepherd dog, as we know them today, despite their name, are no longer shepherd dogs, but solely guard dogs specially designed for military purposes, who were produced in the Krasnaya Zvezda kennel. Because of this, Caucasian Shepherds no longer work as shepherd dogs. They would not be suitable for this, due to their huge body weight and aggressive character. Today, they found their place primarily as fearsome guardians of territories and property.